Zane, do you know what the most frustrating thing about whiskey is?
Of course, it's an empty bottle.
Sure, that's one thing, but no, like when you find a whiskey you really like and then you go back and you can't get it.
Oh, you mean because it's super rare or because it's new?
Pretty much like that. So I got to thinking today, maybe we should talk about how you might find a whiskey you're looking for and give you our tips on how you might find that said whiskey you can't find.
So you're saying like being bounty hunters of whiskey.
Sort of. I mean, how to find the whiskey you want.
I'm gonna be the Greedo of whiskey.
Didn't Greedo die at the hand of Han Solo?
Oh, yes, he did.
So how about Where's My Whiskey in 2022?
And Han shot first.
Well, we already know that.
Right after this.
Welcome to Whiskey Pop. My name is Jeff.
And I'm Zane.
And today we're going to talk about how to find the whiskey you're looking for and probably help you from falling prey to the aftermarket, secondary market.
Because that's the thing. And we know that you guys are just like us. You're looking for something, and sometimes you just can't seem to find it.
That's right. And the last thing you want to do is pay hundreds of dollars more for a whiskey that may not be worth the hundreds of dollars more you're paying for it. Because last week we just talked about collecting whiskey and how the aftermarket affects that. So we're going to try to talk this week about how you might find your whiskey and where to find it.
And where you shall find it.
But before we do any of that,
we have some whiskey that we need to have find our mouth.
So today we're going to have Wiseman Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey.
Not to be confused with the three.
The three wise men?
We are three wise men.
What?
We are three wise men.
Well, what are you doing creeping around a cowshed at 2 o'clock in the morning? That doesn't sound very wise to me.
Okay, so this is Kentucky Owl.
Okay.
So this actually was rated a top whiskey in Whiskey Advocate for last year.
Right.
And we wanted to get our hands on it, and guess what?
Your hand is now
My
on
hand is on it.
It's pretty exciting.
We're gonna pour this up.
Yeah.
So you say pour this up?
Pour it up right now.
So let's try this.
Let's do it. I'm not going to tell you anything.
I want to say something, no. Sure you still don't want to say anything?
We're going to tell you a lot more about this on Friday.
On second pour.
But until then, stick with us here as we tell you how to find your whiskey.
Found anything yet? Nothing yet, sir. How about you? Not a thing, sir. What about you guys? We ain't found shit.
So we know that whiskey is hard to find these days.
I mean,
especially ones you like.
It's everywhere. I mean, nowadays it's so crazy. I can find Pappy Van Winkle on every shelf.
Can you afford the Pappy Van Winkle on every shelf?
Yeah, Heaven's Hill. I'm going down your list.
So you're naming the whiskeys that are the hardest to find.
That's what I'm naming.
So the whiskeys that are hardest to find these days is listed as Pappy Van Winkle, the Heaven's Hill 12 year.
12 year. The I've never seen
it.
That bottle.
Or William LaRue Weller. Have you ever seen a LaRue Weller on the shelf?
Never ever.
Never.
No.
I've seen it in a cabinet.
I've seen Pappy's one time and I didn't get it.
Are you stupid or something?
Stupid is, stupid does, sir.
So today we're going to talk about maybe the things you could do to help find the whiskey you're looking for when it's even hard to find.
And, you know, the thing is you have to be able to know what resources are already out there to help you do that.
And there's a lot of resources out there that'll help you do those things. So one of the first things is the release calendar.
Most companies kind of have a general set of when they...
And they let you know when they're going to release a specific whiskey. So some whiskeys only are released once a year, and then some are released year round, like those small batches that Elijah Craig put out.
Yeah, they're only released one time a year. So you're
Every
going to
day.
be lucky if you can get that on,
But there are limited releases and only year, like Booker's.
Yeah.
Booker's only releases 4 times a year, every quarter. But that's not always 4 times. Sometimes it's twice a year, depending on, I guess, the year.
And then there's this whole other thing, like where it gets released out, but the distributor then milks it out a little bit at a time because they're holding it back.
Yeah, allocated whiskeys.
I kind of hate this industry. Did I mention how dumb it is to have product that you don't sell? I come from a sales background.
Yeah, you normally when you have product, you sell product.
Out the door.
Yeah, but...
Okay, that's just...
But how do you know when things are being... There are tons of websites. There are tons of... Are you all right? Are you all right? Are you all right?
Pisses me off.
I tell.
Release schedules.
There's a lot of websites out there that will put and publish release schedules for whiskeys. Like Midsummer's Night's Dram only comes out certain times of the year. Those type of whiskeys, if you're looking for them, the release schedule lets you know. So you need to watch those. So if you're really into whiskey, you can't complain that you can't find one if you've never actually went and looked and seen when it's even released.
Yeah, because why would you go in the middle of the year to look for something that only is released at the beginning of the year?
Yeah, you know it's going to already be gone.
Yeah, I mean...
It's going to be gone, unless they're holding it back like you're talking about, which is your favorite thing.
It's my favorite. I love it so much.
Everybody just calm down.
Okay.
Number 2.
This is like whipping a dead horse, but we can't say this enough. You need to get to know your dealer.
You gotta go and talk to them. And it's not like you just go and be like, they say, oh, will this be all? And you're like, yes, and give them their money. They say, thank you. And you're like, yeah, and you walk out the door. That doesn't work.
No.
You walk in, you say, oh, hey, how's it going? And they'll be like, oh, I'm good, how are you?
How's your kids?
And then you're like, oh, yeah, let me just tell you, you got to start a conversation. They're real people.
Yeah.
And lots of times in retail, you treat people like they're not real.
And now here's the deal. If you get to know the person at the liquor store, and it may not be the owner, it may just be the clerk that's always there that you see, they're going to remember your face and you guys going to develop a relationship because everybody knows everything's about relationship.
Yeah.
And if you develop this relationship, it'll be easy for them to remember, hey, I remember you like this whiskey. We're getting some. I'll hold you one back. And that tends to happen a lot.
It happens a lot.
Here's the deal. If you walk into a store, and we've always laughed about this, you walk into it, because we've asked liquor store owners, what's the one thing you hear the most? You got any Blintons? We hear that a lot still. So it's like, if you're walking into a liquor store you've never been in, they don't know you, and you say, you got any Blintons? They're going to tell you no, and you know. I'm going to tell you guys right up front right now, they have Blintons.
Yeah, they probably have Blintons.
It's behind the counter, it's in the back. They're holding it for their customers who they know. Now, if you were one of those customers, you would hear, oh yeah, I got yours in the back.
It happens.
It happens. When they don't have ones on hold because nobody's asking for it, that's when you see it on the shelf for $100.
Yeah.
You calling me a liar?
Well, if the boot fits.
Now, here's the other thing. As you develop relationships with your dealer, you also need to develop relationships with people outside of that. So a lot of these guys, these liquor stores have their Facebook pages, they have social media pages.
Yeah, sure.
And they will post when they're getting ready to release or have released said whiskey you're looking for. So you need to follow those social media sites when they're posting those things, or you miss out on a allocated.
Are you telling me
distribution.
I'm gonna have to do the Facebook?
I've been trying to tell you have to do the Facebook since we started this thing called Whiskey-Pop.
I don't the Facebook. I just
Listen, you do the Facebook and you do it because we're looking for whiskey.
Okay, well, if that's the reason why,
There you go. You got a reason.
then there we go.
And you can talk to some of our peeps who watch the show too.
Oh, does that happen?
Because they want to know Travis Tritt.
Travis. I'm signing autographs on Tuesday at the mall.
What?
The outdoor mall has Travis Tritt.
What? We should do that. We could
That-
cash in on that.
that
We
would
could
be
buy
funny.
some more whiskey with that kind of money.
Yeah, I'll just wear jackets with lots of fringe hanging from the arms.
And you can put some makeup on. A little mascara. Put some,
Never heard
some
anybody.
rouge.
Rouge. Never thought of some rouge and some lip balm.
Speaking of change,
Let's change the scenery.
you should do a change of scenery. So yeah, you always go to these big box stores. You always go to these liquor stores. They never really have. You can go outside of your comfort zone and find like some of these small mom and pops in a town just outside of your town. They may not have always the whiskey you're looking for, but they do get allocated whiskey at a lower level. But if you get to know those guys, they would be more apt to hook you up because they don't see as many people. And also think about it. When you're going to a big box store, how many people are going to that store looking for said whiskey?
Everybody's going there.
But if you go to a little small mom and pop, they don't see as many people. They're going to remember you more, and not as many people are coming in there asking for the same
And there's a
stuff.
little secret weapon you can use. This is great. You go out of town or you're taking a road trip, stop at the liquor stores, and you pull this card out. You're like, man, I'm from out of town. This has been a great trip. And you just kind of talk about your road trip.
That's right.
Lots of times they're like, they buy into it.
Are you manipulating people?
People will be like, well, I just so happen to have a bottle of Buffalo Trace here. And you're like, damn it, I don't
want Buffalo
I
Trace.
don't
Thanks.
need
No,
Buffalo Trace.
we're so boozy.
Go ahead, take a sniff.
Ooh.
Another thing you might think about is you don't always have to own the whiskey to try the whiskey.
Oh, that's true.
You know, sometimes you could just go to your local bar.
Right. And because that's what they do, they get some stuff that lots of times
Yeah.
we can't pick up on our own.
Now you might pay a premium to try that whiskey, but at least you get to try the whiskey you've been trying to find. And then the plus side of that, you didn't spend overpriced aftermarket price for it.
And you got to
try
try
it.
it. You got to try it. I recommend it, actually. That's one of the best ways to really get a good smattering, as it were, of these hard to find or just expensive even sometimes whiskeys that you just don't want to throw down the bottle price.
I agree. So there are ways to find those rare whiskeys you want to try or those hard to find whiskeys without breaking your budget and falling prey to the secondary aftermarket prices. And here's the thing, no matter what, when you're looking for a whiskey, just be patient. I still say that you find that a whiskey will make its way to front of you eventually.
Eventually it will.
And eventually this bourbon boom and this whiskey boom will settle down. I think a lot of those whiskeys
Will make their way.
will make their way in front of you.
Help me help you.
What about you? Is there a whiskey this year that you really look forward to trying to get your hands on? Or whiskey, what's a whiskey that you have a hard time finding even now?
Right. Let us know.
But what would you be looking for this year? And have you had Wiseman? Because we are going to review it this Friday on
Second pour.
and we're going to let you know everything we say about it, and then you can decide if you want to go hunt this one down.
Until then, guys, remember, geeks are cool.
Of course, they're
Whiskey's
cool.
great.
And the Book of Boba Fett rocks.
So cheers.
Cheers.